What's up, guys? So, we have a couple of screenshots and some driver rosters to talk about real quick. I was gonna do a live stream yesterday, and when I got to work, there was a lot of shit going on, and I just couldn't do it. So, I decided I'm just gonna wait till today, and I got a lot going on right now, so I said, let me just do a video. I don't really have the time at the moment to do a full blown live stream. It's not that much info anyway, but we're gonna go through it, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So let's take a look here. So the first thing you're gonna see here. So we already know that. Hold on. Here's the ARCA, right? So ARCA has. Okay, it's already chopped up into four because they have. It looks like they have almost everyone that you could think of. Yeah, it looks like they have everyone, but you gotta click on sections. Are they missing anyone? I don't know. I don't really get too crazy about the drivers in the game and stuff. I assume most of them are gonna be in the game. If you look up here, the same thing with the truck series, right? So look at this. All right, so we got that. Yeah, I see. I don't see anyone missing. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not looking that deep into it, but I don't see anything anyone should, complain about. Right? So, but let's get to the good stuff. So, there were some screenshots leaked, right? Leaked. So the reason I do that like that is because this is part of marketing. None of these leaks are, I don't know how to put it. Developers a lot of times allow things to leak because it just makes things a little bit more exciting. I don't mind it. It's part of marketing, right? It's fun, and they're not gonna just let people, especially when you look at the people leaking stuff, right? So you got Dale Jr., who's part of iRacing. So I wouldn't even call this a leak, right? But then you have RFK Racing. Um, these are not just nobodies. There's no doubt that iRacing is giving them their blessing, like, hey, leak this. So it's cool, it's fun, but these aren't like, oops, look, they weren't supposed to do this. They got permission for this, right? I am 99.9% sure. I can't say 100 because I don't really know, but it's obvious to me. So let's take a look at the one with Connor Zelich, right? I wish we had better pictures. Now, iRacing did say they're going to release screenshots. I'm pretty sure that this is just teaser stuff. Like, they're going to actually release real screenshots, which are clear renderings of the game. When you take a picture of an actual TV screen, it's going to be blurry. You're going to have reflections. You're just not going to get the actual video quality that you're going to get when you actually play the game. But that's not why we're here. We're trying to find information, and it's really hard to tell here, but right off the bat you could see the rear view mirror is working, which it wasn't earlier, because as they move forward, they're still working on the game, by the way. So it's still a work in progress technically, but they have a playable state, right, where they can give these guys access. So just looking at a blurry image off of a TV, even though you're not getting a super clear picture, it's obvious to me that the graphics are going to be phenomenal. Like, I don't see anything to complain about. Again, yes, it's a distant, blurry image, but you can still tell the quality. The lighting looks good. You got your track map. You got, the speedometer style of the Cup car. So I'm assuming this means when we see when you're in a different series, ARCA, Truck, or Xfinity, you're probably going to have a different, speedometer or tachometer, right? I shouldn't. Yeah, it is a speedometer as well, but this is the style of the Cup car, so it wouldn't make sense to have it in the other series. So this is cool. It leads me to think that you're gonna have a different experience depending on which series you're in. Every little detail matters. I love details. I like seeing them go the extra mile. It's what we've been begging for, right? Again, rear view mirrors working. This is the third person view. I always like to play in camera view. First person in cockpit. But this is cool. So I'm assuming up here you got your lap counter and then here you got your, I guess they're going to show you the tires, right? It looks a little bit, man, this is really far away. But on iRacing, it actually gives you percentages, right? Or temperature. No, they do give you temperatures, but they give you percentage of where inside of the tire, center, and then outside of the tire, all four corners. I'm assuming if you do have damage, it'll probably show up right here. So yeah, and I can't see what information this is. So we're gonna have to wait on that. But this is a good shot. It's a teaser more than a legit screenshot. Here you have a better one from RFK. So once again, now you get a closer look of what we were just talking about. And the other picture was showing more information on the car, and it looks to me like you're going to be able to toggle that on and off, where it doesn't always have to be there, which is great. This is more minimalist. Again, you got your rear view mirror working, the position you're in second, and it there are aspects of it that are going to kind of feel like the Heat games. I've seen people comment that about some of the user interface. I honestly feel like it's a refresh version of that. It's not exactly like Heat. If you really think about it, how many different things can you really do with a user interface other than change little details, styling of stuff like this we didn't have before? There's only so much you can do. All of these games are going to feel similar. This isn't, these NASCAR games have been around a long time. And, a track, like, look at this for instance. Ooh, look, a track map. How many different ways can you show this where it's going to look really different? This is what I expect from the user interface. I'm not as nitpicky on that stuff. I think what's important is the main part of the game overall. This looks nothing like a Heat game. So that's what's important. I'm not as concerned about things of like the user interface. What I'm concerned about when it comes to the user interface is clarity. Everything is very simple. It's minimalist, which I like, and easy to read. And everything else is what's going to catch your eye, which is the graphics, the lighting, the color saturation. Really looks good. Again, this is off of a TV screen. So it looks fantastic to me. When you actually play the game, it should look great. If you look up here, you got a mouse pointer. So they're playing the game and they're getting permission to upload this, right, as a screenshot. But this is obviously off of a PC, which I'm really. That's one of my biggest concerns at the moment. When is the PC version going to come out? And a couple of other small things. But I could not be happier about the graphics. Again, we're getting a very small taste of things. But anybody out there talking about, oh, this looks like a Heat game, or it's like, you're out of your fucking minds, man. This is great. Like, how much better do you expect a NASCAR game to look? We are getting to the point of diminishing returns, which means these games look way better than games from generations ago. But we are now hitting a ceiling where even with more power, how much more can you make a game look? How much better can you make a game look like this, right? The only next step is photorealism, and this looks great. Like I don't, I have no complaints at the moment. Yes, we got to see gameplay and we got to see official screenshots. Like I was saying earlier, not, taking pictures off of a TV screen, but actually giving you direct from the game renderings of the screenshots, right? Or captures. Um, the fence looks good. The poles here have a 3D look to them. If you play iRacing, iRacing's really outdated graphically, and a lot of these details are two-dimensional flat textures. So obviously, I'm not surprised the game looks this good. This is a game developed with the modern generation, and they're using a really good game engine. There's no excuse. So I'm not surprised it looks this good, but I'm still excited, right? I think you should be too. This looks great. I got no complaints. Now here's another one. This one's really interesting. Again, you can see it looks great. This, when you look at this, and people have mentioned it once again, this does remind you of the Heat games, right? What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. This is part of your user interface. All I want is that this is clear and easy to read and understand. That's what matters. Everything else is what needs to look good, and this looks great. It's a user interface. I don't know what people expect from this. Flashing lights, 3D, having this thing like flip around in 3D, floating in the air. Like I don't get it. This is perfectly fine. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, and keep things simple and easy to read. So what's interesting to me, right, is one, again, graphically looks amazing. Here it says Team Radio hears our strategy. This is the one thing that I'm really hoping that they are moving away from what they did in the Heat series, which is everything is just text, right? So what I'm hoping is that when you're in this situation here, which is obviously a caution, and this pops up, that you actually hear audio, like your crew chief or your spotter, which really should be your crew chief, right? Under caution, talking to you, at least saying, "Hey, I think we should stay out. You don't have to pit, so I'm recommending we stay out." Because when you look over here, it says, "Here's our strategy." So you hit the button to confirm the strategy, which is whatever they're suggesting, or cancel, right? I can't see what this says here. Cancel. I thought it said cancel pit. Because if you're confirming the strategy and it says no pit required, then canceling pit, this is kind of doing the same thing. So I don't think that says pit. I can't, it's hard to read here. I guess thinking about it, if you noticed, the text is not exactly like a Heat game because it's transparent. You could see, I just realized that. You could see through this text. So it's actually a more modern take on it. But I don't know if that's making this harder to read. I don't think it's that. I think it's that these are white letters and this is like a transparent white background. You see how this is easy to read because this background here is dark? I think they should keep this dark as well. I think if you could change something, my suggestion, and maybe they are going to change it. Like I said, this is a work in progress. But this, I would change the background here to this. Like, see how this is dark, but it's still transparent, right? So it's still cool, and you could kind of see through it. But because this is dark, it gives you a direct contrast to white letters. This, you're using white letters here and a white transparent background. So it is harder to read. And if you're in the game, I'm assuming this screen is probably not paused. I think it might be, or it's in motion. So you're going to have things in motion. And when you have this transparent background, that could also add to the difficulty of reading this, right? I can't tell if this one's more blurred. This looks a little bit transparent as well. Yeah, you could see the car here. So yeah, it is. I like and appreciate that this is transparent, but this is a good example right here and here. Even though this is slightly transparent, you could still clearly see everything because the background here is dark. Same here. So it doesn't interfere. This just piece right here needs to be dark, just like this. So if iRacing, if you're listening, I'm hoping I can humbly suggest that you darken this back here, the background to this, just like these, right? So that it's easier to read. But again, let's get back to the strategy thing. Give me a second. I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping there's audio that's part of this. But something tells me maybe not. Maybe it is just read and just follow this. This is still great, but it would be that much better with that added detail of the crew chief actually talking to you like, hey, I suggest we stay out. Here, that's our strategy. You know, if you want to pit, it's up to you, but that's our strategy. And then you look over here and it says pit strategy, lap. Man, this is hard to read. Because like I said, it's not a screenshot. Like this is far away from the TV screen, which makes it hard to see what, you know, when you play the game, I think it's going to be super clear. And that's another thing. I might be like, I got to take into account that this is a picture taken off of a TV screen. So it's harder to read. So that's something I got to keep in mind. Maybe this here won't be so bad when you're playing. So you got your stages, you got caution, laps remaining for stage 1, 11 laps, estimated fuel after pitting, 39 laps. Okay. Recommendation, no pit required. So that's part of the strategy. So if you confirm the strategy, you'll stay out. You're just not going to pit. And they're telling you that this is how many laps you have left for the end of the stage. And then estimated fuel after pit, 39 laps. Down here you got fuel. Wait, does that say? I can't read that. Oh, none. So I guess if you pit, you could see the white overlay here. So it looks like you'll be able to scroll up and down. So I guess if you pit, you can choose no fuel, or however much fuel you want. Tires, you got 2 right sides. I guess you have left and right. So I guess you could choose left sides, right sides, or all 4 tires, right? Repair, if you got damage, you could choose to repair or not. Just like games, used to, from the past. Over here, you got, it shows you your tire wear. Left front, left rear, right rear. Now, I've seen people ask this, and I also have a question. I don't see anything here about adjustments or pit stop adjustments, whether it's tire pressure, wedge, track bar. I know there's no wedge for the Cup cars, but for the other cars, there's going to be, those adjustments. Whatever adjustments that you should have, I don't see that here. But I do want to mention, and I don't know this for a fact, but this here, this box, maybe as you scroll down with this white overlay, as you know, you toggle down, maybe this scrolls up. And below this, the tires, you have air pressure adjustments. You have, track bar or whatever other adjustments, they're probably there. And you scroll down. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. Because it's probably in this box and you could scroll down. As you move this downward, this might scroll upward. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. But I really am interested in how this works. And I love the idea that there's an actual strategy that's being recommended to you. Like as it's as you see here, recommendation, no pit required. I love that. We've never had that. Like we've always had it where we make all the decisions, and to have that crew chief here where he's actually helping you and trying to guide you, that's huge. That's something that we haven't had. I love details like that. This is what NASCAR games have been missing. So I'm really excited for this. But I am interested to know about the adjustments, how that works. Everything I just said is speculation, so take that with a grain of salt. Here's the other thing. This looks great. Love the graphics. This is one thing here that's strange. Other people have mentioned it. The car seems to be pointed backwards. Like this car here, this is your car. This is clearly the nose of the car. You could see the vents on the hood. There's no spoiler here. So this is, it's like you're like, did you spin out and you're facing the other way? And it's perfectly straight. Doesn't seem like that to me. So I'm really curious to know, why is this car facing backwards? What's going on here? I don't know. So that's kind of odd. It is something, that catches my attention. So here's the other thing. Let's go. It's under Dale Jr. Here's another really cool thing. So let's look at this. Hold on a second. Let me expand this. This, I think, is the main screen. And Dale Jr. posted this on Instagram. Look at this. So you got the car here. I guess William Byron is probably going to be the cover guy. I'm hoping that maybe whatever driver you choose to be, like, it would be cool if you could choose which car you always see here, or even your own custom car. And that could be, but if it doesn't, like, this is not the end of the world. This is your main screen, and it looks great. So let's take a look at it in motion. All right, so clearly the soundtrack. This particular song is from Killer Mike, a rapper. I've never been somebody who cares that much about soundtracks in a game. Very few games where a soundtrack has mattered that much to me. If I think about the old days and like the Thunder series, and what was that? I think that there's a song, Magic Carpet Ride. I remember that from like 2003. So for nostalgia's sake, yeah, that's cool. But I'm just not a person that cares about soundtrack. I know a lot of you do, and it doesn't matter to me. That's just my opinion. But that's a rap song. I know some people. I read some fucking horrendous comments already because people complain about everything, and this community, the NASCAR fan base in general, really could show their ass sometimes, like, and embarrass themselves, just in a really embarrassing way. But there it is. But this looks great. you got career, quick race, online, championship, driver ratings. So I guess you'll be able to go here and check out everyone's rating. So whatever their rating is, that's going to affect how they race in the game, the AI, so to speak. Uh, I'm making that assumption based on what's been said before about how the AI, depending on their rating, they're going to race differently and they're going to try to make them race as their real life counterparts. So I guess this is where you can go and just check out how everybody's rated. Um, the fact that they have it here on the main screen, it leads me to believe that this changes. That would be really cool if it changed. Because if it was static and it just never changed, it's just like something to go check. I don't know if they would put that on the main screen here. Like, these are important parts of the game. Online, quick race, championship mode, driver ratings, career. Now, this back here, I cannot see what this is. I know people have probably gotten better images and blown them up, but you got more stuff all the way up here. So that's pretty much it right now, but we got some really cool stuff that shows you the game. As you could see here, this is Connor Zilic again. We're getting that. I think I showed this earlier, did I? But same thing. But you could see how it's blurry, it's far away, it's, it's hard to look at, but I am really excited about all this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If we get more information and I have more to talk about, I'll jump right on it. So once again, I apologize. I did plan to do a live stream yesterday. It did not work out. My job is unpredictable, and sometimes shit happens, and I don't, when it's quiet, and when there's a lot going on, there's a lot going on. So I'm hoping we get more info soon, and if we do, I'll cover it. Until then, I look forward to your comments. You guys have a good one. Later.